Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about the top 10 relationship angles. Now, this is the Flight Boss Archangel Uriel's top 10 relationship angles. So this is dealing with like composition right here, SYNASTRY. You know what I'm saying? Not much is composition, but SYNASTRY. So, you know, this is when one person's planet align with another person's planet, and this is what actually draws them together, or makes them enemies, or makes them unaware of each other and be very intrigued, like an in conjunction or something like that, and a misunderstanding. So, this is not in no specific order, you know. If you're in a relationship with someone and you have like the sun, moon, and the ascendant in very different places, and you like, I'm attracted to this person, but I don't know why. You may have one of these alignments with each other, and this alignment solely alone is what brought you together. Now, an alignment alone together is not going to be what actually keep a person together, but it's like a natural attraction, and it could be a natural hurdle or a natural success. But it is just in that area of life, depending on the two planets and the energies that the two planets carry. So if it's your sun, it's going to be dependent on your actions and the way you act. And if that's doing an angle with your partner's Mercury, then that's going to affect the way they think or the way they communicate and analyze. If it's their moon, then it's going to affect who they are and their emotional stance and response to things. And if it's your Venus, it's going to affect your love, appreciation, and value, and how you relate to this person. So let's get into it. Now you have the sun conjunct moon. Now right here, I call this number one, even though they're not in no specific order. If it was an order, this will be number one, because here's the difference, and here's what you might not see, that you think you might see in this top 10. Sun conjunct sun. That's not actually good for a relationship. Just the same way as the sun opposite somebody else's sun. You see what I'm saying? What happens here? These cause attraction. These are natural attraction, but it's natural friction also. You see what I'm saying? Like if you look at a magnet is two surfaces that's causing friction for it to be a magnet. So two things could stick together, but that sticking together is still a friction for it to stick together. So that friction over time could be the same thing that split you apart. This is why sun opposite suns or sun conjunct suns that come together a lot of times is like it's extremes. It could only go extremes. So I'm not even going to apply any of those to this top 10. But we're going to start off with number one right now. Now, sun conjunct moon. Now right here I call this true marriage. This is true marriage right here, because when you take the sun, the sun and the moon is actually what created marriage or created unity. You know what I'm saying? The word marriage and how the system and the government try to make you understand it is not what it is. But for the most part, this is when a person's actions and the way they act is on the same page as another person's reactions and who they are and their emotional response. So one person, either is the male or female, it doesn't matter. One person is emotionally comfortable with the other person's actions. You see what I'm saying? And then the other person actions and the way they act and how they see things, they can see another person's reactions, or they can see who a person really is. They can see who this person really are, because it's the sun conjunct moon. The moon is who you are, and the sun is how you act. So when one person moon conjunct the other person's sun, the person's sun can see who this person really is, and how they're going to respond to things and how they're going to react. And this person with the moon is going to feel comfortable with this person's actions, and it's going to be a sense of direction, because there's no light like in the yin realm to see. So the sun plays a form of direction for the moon. So this is why the moon usually plays out as the female and the sun usually plays out the male. But when it comes out to humans, it really don't matter, because males and female, you all have X and Y chromosomes. You all have male and female, yin and yang, right, left brain. You all mixture up. So regardless of what physical body you got manifested in, You know what I'm saying? For an external representation, you're still carrying the traits. So Sun conjunct Moon. This is number 1. Now next, 2, you have Moon trine Venus. So I gave this definition of feelings and emotional value. So when a person's Moon trine another person's Venus, what happens here is you have one person who they are, their emotional stance on things, their reactions, and they have the gift of reacting to the other person's pleasures, the way the Venus person love, appreciate, value, and how they relate to things and how they compromise, and vice versa. The Venus person love and appreciate and value and is able to relate to who the Moon person are, who they really is, how they react to things, the things that they feel comfortable with doing. So that's this is an excellent placement for relationships. Now 3, we're going to go Sun sextile Mars. So with Sun sextile Mars, what happens here is I gave this definition: act on each other's desires, because you have the person's Sun, their actions, the way they act and how they see things, is going to take the opportunity to act on the Mars person's intent, their passions, their desires. You see what I'm saying? So this makes good for relationships also, because if a person is desiring sex, the Mars person desiring sex, the Sun person is going to act on it. And if the Mars person has an intent or a passion, they're going to get support from the Sun person, which their actions, how they see things, and then vice versa. The Sun person, how they act, how they see things, and their actions. A lot of times, the Mars person is going to be able to use their passion and their intent and their willpower to support the viewpoints of the Sun person. So yeah, Sun sextile Mars. Now 4, we got ascendant trine Moon. So when one person ascendant trine another person's Moon, I gave this the definition of easily become part of each other's personal life. Yeah, so this makes it easy to become part of each other's personal lives when the ascendant trine Moon. Because when one person ascendant, the ascendant person is dealing with their personality, personal issues, and the personal people, places, and things in their personal life. And then the Moon person is dealing with who they are and things that they react to and what makes them comfortable. So when you have and the trine is the gift. So when you have the ascendant trines of a person's Moon, the ascendant person, the Moon person has the gift of being easily accepted and being a part of, or just naturally being a part of the ascendant person's personal life or personal issues or personal people, places, and things, and be able to impact this person's personality and be able to join and become one with this person's personality. And also, and vice versa, the ascendant person is able to, their personality is able to gift the Moon person with comfortability, and their personal issues is able to gift the Moon person emotional stability, emotional comfortability, and a sort of relativeness. And even the ascendant person's personal people, places, and things in their life is they're even able to jump in and help out the Moon person and who they are and react to. So it's more, this is like really family orientated placement right here for a relationship. Now 5, we got Mars conjunct Saturn. So I gave this definition is passion for each other to gain stability in each other's lives. So when you have the Mars person conjuncting the other person's Saturn, what happens here is Mars is, with the Mars person, intent, willpower, and passions and desires is on the same page as the Saturn person's structure in their life, how they gain structure in their life. So a lot of times the Mars person is the structure or the crutch for the Saturn person, and then vice versa. The Saturn person is the stability or the foundation for the Mars person to even have a passion or a willpower to get out and go do something in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So Also, they helped each other out really financially. So this may not be like a sex relationship as much as a helping hand relationship. So the sex would be there, but you guys create more of a foundation. You guys more need each other for stability purposes more than just you know what I'm saying, pleasurable purposes. So this is also a good placement for relationships right here. Like I said, the sun and sun conjunctions and the sun opposing sun, those more for friendships. Those are not really for relationships as male and female or whatever kind of relationship you're dealing with. If it's male or female or same sex and things of that nature, as far as just friendship, that's the sun conjunct sun or sun opposed sun. But when it comes to relationship, as far as a bonding with each other, it's going to cause friction. Now going to 6, we have moon square Pluto. So I gave this definition right here is you learn from each other's deep desires. So when one person's moon square the other person's Pluto, the moon person, who they are, how they react to things, their reactions, right, is always constantly learning from the Pluto's person's deep desires, deep motivations, the transformative situations that they're always going through in their life, their deep motivations and passions and things of that nature. And then vice versa, the Pluto person is always willing and always trying to transform the moon's person emotional stance on something or emotional reaction on something, or always trying to transform who they are. So these people, the moon square Pluto person, these people are experimenting with each other. When these two people come together, they're doing things with each other that they never did with other people in their lives before, and they're seeing that this genuinely them. So these people who lose themselves into each other in order to find themselves again. You see what I'm saying? And if at the end of the race they find themselves again and realize this is not a situation, it'll play out like that. But a lot of times they end up doing so much stuff together that they haven't never did with others that becomes their bond. You see what I'm saying? For good or bad. So this is another good placement for a relationship. Moon square Pluto. When one person's moon squares the other person's Pluto. Now go to 7. We have moon opposed moon. Now, this is when an opposition between two of the same planets actually works. The moon works better than the sun opposing each other. And here's why. Well, I gave this definition right here. Balance each other out. So as the moon opposed moon or the moon conjunct moon, that's more of relationship, and then the sun conjunct sun with a person or a sun opposed sun with a person, that's more of friendship. That's better for friendships. So as long as y'all know the difference between that right there, because the moon connects water, yin. The sun separates light, vision, sees. You see what I'm saying? So once you break down those energy elements, you can see how that plays out through everyday relationships when you're doing that with two people, planets, and synastry. It's just basic common sense, you see what I'm saying? Once you dive into this and start to really understand things. Now, when we get to the moon opposed the moon, you balance each other out, because you have one person's emotional stability and who they are and how they react to things on a very different level or a very different outview than another person's emotional outlook and who they are. And the opposition creates a tug of war match or a give and receive match. And this is why it works better with the moon, because the moon is the unseen realm. So this is what connects you guys together, not what you can see off the back like the sun. What's off the back our opposition, or what's off the back what we do together, the same. And a lot of times when you're around somebody who do the same thing you do all the time, and get frustrating. That's, see, the sun, the moon is an internal thing. So it's like more of a connection, like, okay, this person understands me now. So regardless of the sun, you still may act in different ways with different sun signs, but you understand why you acting in that way because the moon signs. Now, with the opposite moon, this could be a tug of war match, because what happens here is the attraction, but tug of war match, because what happens here is one person may not be willing to compromise, depending on which moon sign it is that they have. May not be willing to compromise who they are or their emotional stance on things for the sake of the other person. So if they're able to willing to work through that, which opposition will create the balance where it could become a give and receive match. And this when one person know how to set aside their emotional stance on things, and the other person know how to set aside who they are for the sake of the relationship or whatever involved that's keeping you guys together. So what happens here is moon opposite moon. You guys understand this from a yin realm level. So this is what connect you. So regardless of the action of the sun friction, those things is what connect people, and these are the basic foundations of relationships in general. You know what I'm saying? Knowing when to compromise and knowing what not to. And when that's being dealt with from a behind the scenes realm other than the actionary realm like the sun, then that's when it plays better. This is why the moon opposed the moon is better than the sun opposed the sun in synastry and as far as relationships. And this is why this is good for relationship, because you guys can help balance each other out on emotionally. Where one person is emotionally lacking and may not know how to react or respond to certain things, that's when the other person is able to jump in and you balance each other's internal life out. Now 8, you have the sun opposed, the sun opposed ascendant. Now the definition I gave this is joining forces with separate lives. So now this is good right here when one person's sun opposed another person's ascendant. And then a lot of times how this play out too is, and not always, but the majority of time, the ascendant person, the sun person falls into the ascendant person's 7th house. So that's how this plays out a lot of times also. So what happens here is with the sun opposed the other person's ascendant, this is joining forces with separate lives. So this is the sun person, their actions, the way they see things, and how they, and the things that they choose to act on is at odds with the other person's, with the ascendant person's personality, personal issues, personal people, places, things in their lives. So this person, what happens here is when it's an attraction, because it's like totally separate worlds, but at the same time you can see how it can be brought together. And that little friction of seeing if this could work or not, if this might work, if it don't, the little secrecy and privacy and the little mechanisms and energy force fields that go around that is actually one of the most magnetism attractions that we have in this world. Them little thought frequency spirits that give you the thought process that make you feel like, I don't know if this will work, but if this work, let's see how far this will go. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cheaters have this energy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of manipulative people have this energy, or a lot of this people who are free to the world and don't even look at relationships that serious have this energy. It's like almost like a taboo. It's like almost like I shouldn't be doing this, but that's why I'm doing this. That energy right there is what this relationship kind of creates with the sun opposite the ascendant. Because look, you have the ascendant person, right? Their personal, the personal people, places, and things in their life. These are people who they may already have a bunch of kids, or they already have their personal issues. They already have their personality intact. And they already been through a lot of things. And then they meet a person that's from a whole different background, got whole different actions and whole different viewpoints on life. And then that'll be the sun person that this person end up meeting with the sun opposed ascendant. Then you have this and vice versa. The sun person, this person they see things in this way in so many ways, and see things and this, that, and the third, and things been on a constant. Then they end up meeting this ascendant person, and this ascendant person kind of their family structure different. This person got a different type personality. This person personal issues is unlike this person, and the sun person may want to cater to this person's personal issues. You know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So that's how this attraction play out. So this is another good placement for the sun opposed ascendant. For synastry. Top 10 angles for relationships. Sun opposed ascendant. Now let's go to 9. 9, we got sun sextile sun. Now sun sextile sun. This is a good placement right here, because right here I did this definition. I called it create opportunities for attraction, because right here you have the sextile create opportunities, and then you have one person's actions, the way they act and how they see things, and then they come into another person's actions, how another person see things. And what another person is into. And another person is into, and things of that nature. So what happens here is, now with the sun sextile sun, one person's, now, the sextile always going to create opportunities. So anytime two planets become a sextile, that's two people that's doing entirely two different things, but the entirely two different things that they're doing can complement each other in some type of way. Or it can kind of crash each other, but that sense of bringing it together is a lot more frequent than a square or maybe an or opposition. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like the sextile plays out in ways of support in so many ways. So right here, if it's a water and earth, you know what I'm saying? We know the complete. We know opposites. When we look at opposites, I know we look at it in astrology like, okay, the opposite as far as the wheel, but as far as the energetic signatures that they carry. But as far as elemental opposites is fire, water, earth, air. And earth, air is not even technically in their equation yet when we have fire, water. So you see what I'm saying? So regardless of the sextile going to create opportunities. So when you have one person actions and the way they act and how they see things, being able to be supported or be fluided by another person's actions and the way they act and see things, is going to create a natural bringing together, and a very light one too. A light one is like an ease in one that wasn't too hard to do and too hard to break away from. You see what I'm saying? So this as fast as the sextile could come together, just as fast as it could break apart. Know that. Now know that. Just as fast as the sextiles come together, just as fast as sextiles could break apart. But a lot of times there's not a lot of hard feelings that's mixed in the middle. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, we have the sun trine the sun. Now with the sun trine the sun, I like to say right here, this is the gift of understanding. Because one person's actions and the way they act has the gift of understanding how the other person act and how the other person see things. And this is what the sun sextile the sun may lack. Because even though you guys may be able to, the way you act and your actions may be able to support your sextile partner's actions, a lot of times you still don't see things the same way. It's just y'all able to bring both of y'all ways of seeing things together because you still different elements. But with the sun trine the sun, you are the same elements. So you guys have the gift of understanding. And a lot of times that could burn you. You could burn each other out with that too. Or wash each other out or aired each other out or concrete and burn, and split